All right, let's jump right in. We're surrounded by these massive structures, buildings, bridges, every single day. But have you ever stopped to think about what actually holds them all together? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on construction's unsung heroes.
Seriously, just take a second to think about it. That skyscraper you see downtown, the bridge you drive over on your commute, even the foundation of your own home. What is it? What's the core ingredient that gives them all that incredible strength to stand up to, well, everything? The answer, it turns out, is a lot simpler and maybe a little grittier than you'd expect.
Because it turns out there's this kind of secret ingredient, and it's fundamental to pretty much everything we build. It's not flashy, it's not some high-tech marvel, but I'm telling you, without it, our modern world would literally fall apart.
And here it is. The secret ingredient is aggregates. Now, that's just the fancy technical term for stuff like sand, gravel, and crushed stone. These materials are the bulk, the muscle. They're the very backbone of concrete. And concrete, as you might know, is the most widely used building material on the entire planet. But don't think of aggregates as just, a simple filler. That's not the whole story. They are the star player here. They actively make the concrete stronger, way more stable, and, this is a big one, a lot less expensive. They're the real workhorses of the construction world for sure.
So, how does it all come together? Well, it's actually a pretty simple recipe. Think about it. You start with cement, add some water, that makes a kind of paste, and then you mix in the aggregates. That's it. That's the basic formula that has built, well, pretty much all of our cities. So simple, but wow, is it powerful.
Okay, so we've got the basic idea, but here's where it gets interesting. Not all aggregates are created equal. You can almost think of them like a family, where each member has a really specific job to do. So let's meet the key players, shall we?
All right, first up we've got gravel. We've all seen this stuff, right? We're talking about those small, rounded stones you'd find in a riverbed or maybe on a walking path. They've been smoothed out over thousands of years by water and weather.
And yeah, you're probably way more familiar with it than you even realize. Whether it's on someone's driveway or lining a garden path, gravel is just everywhere. But in construction, these little stones are playing a massive role.
And here's why it's so important. Gravel has this amazing dual function. First, it gives the concrete bulk and strength. But it also creates these little gaps that allow water to drain away. And that drainage is absolutely crucial for things like roads and building foundations. You don't want water just sitting there.
Okay, next member of the aggregate family, sand. We're talking about those teeny tiny grains of rock. And let me tell you, they are just as important as the bigger stones.
And again, you see it everywhere, from the beach, obviously, to the mortar that's used to lay bricks and blocks. Its purpose is super specific and totally vital to the whole process. So here's its job, and it's a brilliant one. Think about it. The bigger stones, like gravel, create the main structure. But what about all the empty space in between them? That's where sand comes in. It fills in all those tiny gaps, locking everything together into one super dense solid block. Without sand, your concrete would be all holey and full of weak spots, no good.
And our final main player is crushed stone. Now, this one's a little different. Unlike sand and gravel, which are usually shaped by nature over time, crushed stone is man-made. We literally take huge rocks and run them through machines to break them down into smaller pieces with sharp edges.
And why do we do that? Well, those sharp angular edges are key. They interlock with each other, almost like puzzle pieces, which gives the concrete an incredible level of strength and durability. So whenever a project needs to be super tough and last for ages, crushed stone is the go-to. So there you have it, our aggregate family: sand, gravel, and crushed stone. But, and this is a big but, just having the right ingredients isn't enough. You have to make sure they're clean, because it turns out there's a hidden enemy that can sneak in and ruin the whole batch.
And that enemy has a name: silt. Silt is basically just super fine dirt or clay that can get mixed in with your sand. And you might look at it and think, what's the big deal? But trust me, in the world of concrete, it's a major problem.
And this really breaks it down perfectly. Use clean sand, you get strong, reliable concrete. Simple. But if your sand is loaded with silt, well, that silt gets in the way. It stops the cement from properly sticking to the sand particles. And the result? Weak, brittle concrete that could fail. The difference is, quite literally, night and day.
So you can see why testing for silt isn't just a suggestion, right? It's an absolutely critical step for safety. Builders have to make sure their aggregates are clean.
It's the only way to guarantee the strength and integrity of the whole structure they're building.
So when you step back and look at the big picture, it's kind of amazing. From these tiny grains of sand to chunky pieces of stone, these simple, humble materials really do form the bedrock of our modern civilization. They're not glamorous, not at all, but they are absolutely essential.
And really, that's the whole point. The next time you see a towering building, or even just walk down a sidewalk, maybe you'll see it a little differently. Maybe you won't just see concrete. You'll see the billions and billions of tiny unsung heroes, the aggregates, all locked together, working hard to hold our world up.